Pacers or not Pacers, Blazers, excuse me. They're on the right path. Lillard's a very strong player. C.J. McCollum's a good player.
Right.
They've got talent and it's young. So if I was a Portland fan, be patient. But you can't expect with that young level of talent that you can compete with what Golden State can put on the floor, regardless of what's going on with Kerr. I think that there's a lot of maturity on that team to the point that they're going to be able to make sure that they know what they need to do and they know how to get their jobs done. And you can't expect Portland that young with that level of talent to compete in the same. It's just not the same ballpark.
I feel like this is a question that I have to ask because it popped into my mind. If they had Carmelo or Blake Griffin, how vastly does that change it? Do they go from an 8 seed to a 4 to a 3, or do they stay in the bottom half of the playoffs?
It's tough to say. I think that would give them a considerable boost from where they stand. It probably would have propelled them, I would say, 4 or 5 at most in the West, and that's being.
If they get both, that brings them to 2.
Yeah, maybe.
No. I actually
because San Antonio is just so. You can't outright Popovich being the coach, regardless of the talent he has. He always seems to make it work. And Houston's
Rockets,
a strong team.
The Grizzlies.
Yeah, there's a lot of talent in the West. It's a completely different argument.
Yeah, no, I realized the error of my ways. So is there much that we have to say about this?
I don't think there's much to say. I mean, if you're looking for any proof of who is the better team here, go look at the scores.
Yeah, the Blazers actually made fun of that on Twitter. They were while the game was going, they were getting blown out. It said on the top it showed their logo, on the bottom it showed the Wizards logo, or not the Wizards, the Warriors logo, and on the top underneath theirs it said 22, and on the bottom underneath the Warriors it said a lot for the end of the first quarter.
You know, well played by the person running the Twitter for Portland, because that, I mean, at least you're making light of the situation. I mean, that I'll give the Portland fans credit for what it's worth. I mean, they gave Lillard a standing ovation when he left the game. Granted, they were down like 30-some-odd points, but at least they showed love for the one of the players that was actually trying to give them hope. So Portland's got a decent fan base. They've got a good enough team in time. Let them develop. Let them, as the Sixers adjective, trust the process. It's going to take some time, but Portland's going to be good in the future and not far off.
Yeah, the only other thing to really note, Kevin Durant has not played much in the last month. He is going to be very well rested.
That's dangerous. That's dangerous. I mean, he had a good night last night. It seemed like he didn't fall out of the groove or the rhythm. It's scary to think that they've been doing this and Durant's been able to kick back for a good amount of time. Make sure he's well rested. Make sure he's healthy going into this, because the West is going to be a dogfight.
All right, now we're going past them, and we're going to the next series in the Western Conference. Let's go with the Clippers Jazz. Clippers lose Blake Griffin, and now it looks like they're going to not win another game.
It's going to be tough. I mean, you losing Blake, that's a huge problem.
Did you lose Lob or did you lose City?
I think you lost City. I mean,
so DeAndre's Lob.
I mean, it can go either way. I think the problem in this situation now that they've lost him is the matchups for Los Angeles is going to be a problem, because Utah's going to be able to spread them out over the floor, especially now that Hayward's stopped getting sick all over the place. So with that being said, I just don't see how the Clippers will be able to match up with a team that can spread the floor, who have big men who can go outside. It's just going to create more problems that I think there's going to be too many problems for LA to be able to answer and pull this series out, especially given where they stand right now. I think that Utah is going to pull this out and win this series now.
Yeah, I don't have much more to add to this other than I think Utah wins the series. Do you have anything more you want to say, or are we good to just move on from this?
I mean, yeah, I just want to say I kind of feel bad for the Clippers because I've always kind of rooted for them almost being the underdog in a city, just because of the fact that they always have to live in the LA shadow. And with having Jordan and Griffin and Paul and Crawford and these players in place, you really thought that the Clippers were going to have one of those chances here coming up, but
I never thought they had a chance.
That team, in my opinion, I don't know what forever reason, they are cursed. They're just not destined, no matter who they put on that team, to win.
I've never thought that they had a chance. Not when they got Blake, not with DeAndre, not when they got Chris Paul, not after what's his name, the owner Sterling. Donald Sterling had sell.
Sterling's an idiot to begin with. That guy's a moron. Don't bring those people around my arena. Those people, mind you, was Magic Johnson.
I mean, he is one of those people.
But it's Magic Johnson.
It's also the same arena that the Lakers play in.
I mean, maybe that's what he was saying. Don't bring the Lakers by my arena.
Maybe.
I don't want them there.
No purple and gold in Staples.
Yeah, maybe that was it. Now, if Sterling had hung on a little bit longer and kept his mouth shut, he would have been passing him in the hallway.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe.
Yeah. Well, you got booted out, and now Magic Johnson has a job there.
Yeah, a very important job.
Yeah, actually. And he now has made, I'm sure, Phil Jackson very bitter.
All right, so let's move on. Not much more to say about this. Rudy Gobert is doing well. He's been having a few issues with health. Glad he's doing better. But I'll let you choose the next series. Which one do you want to talk about next? Because we have Spurs, Grizzlies, and we have Thunder and Rockets.
Because I think the explanation is going to be shorter here, and given how the series has gone on, I want to save the other one for last. We'll go to Houston and Oklahoma City.
Okay.
Now, what do you make of Oklahoma City? It seems like, from my perspective, watching the games, massive leads in the third quarter, second half, or end of the first half, just to be squandered by Oklahoma City. 30-point leads, we're talking 40-point leads, gone.
What I think is happening is James Harden in the third quarter grabs a basketball and goes, please. That's the best explanation I've got.
It's got to have to do something with the beard, because he does look like a lunatic. Yeah, I wouldn't want to step in front of him for a charge.
I mean, there are certain things, like he wears his shirt open so you see his chest. Remember that commercial?
Yes, yeah. That was fantastic.
That was one of the better commercials. No, what I really think it is live and die by the three. That, and they get a lot of free throws. I don't remember who it was that I saw on Twitter, but they said they should change the name from the Houston Rockets to the Threes and Frees, because that's how they're playing, that's how they're winning. They're hitting an absurd number of 3-point shots. I mean, they take a lot. With James Harden, Trevor Reeves, of course you're going to take a lot of threes. You're going to miss a lot of threes, but they're making a lot of 3-point shots, and they take a lot of free throws. Plus, not to mention, one of my favorite players is playing a position where you take a lot of high percentage shots. Nene Hilario.
Nene has been an unstoppable animal, especially given the fact that, for whatever reason, and I don't know, I think it's similar to the issue that the Clippers are now going to face. I don't think that the Thunder can match up. I don't think that they can do it. I think there's plenty of ways that they can be beat, whether it be Beverly, Harden, Ariza, Gordon.
Yeah, Eric Gordon went 4 for 7 from 3-point the last game. But James Harden went 0 for 7 from 3.
But the other thing that kills me with Harden is he adapts too. He can either be out in the 3, he can come off the pick, he can drive into the lane. But what you've been seeing in the series a lot is him driving the lane and the Oklahoma Thunder coming across willing to give up the big man, and he's just been dumping it to Nene, who, under the basket, Nene's just going to grab it and dunk it every time. But for whatever reason, they just won't abandon that. And then when they do try and do something about that, Harden pulls people in, and then you have people like Beverly or Ariza or Gordon out there that you kick them the ball, they're going to score a 3. I don't think that Oklahoma has the players to be able to match up with what the Thunder can throw at them if the Thunder keep adjusting to whatever Oklahoma can figure it out and seem to get a stop. It seems to me like Houston can adjust a little bit and throw them off their game again. And it turns into a snowball effect, and then they can't hold it. Plus, Westbrook can be as great as he wants to be. You can't say, especially in a game like basketball, that one player can beat you. I mean, even Jordan back in his heyday, he had weapons with him. It's hard to say one player is going to be able to dominate a game.
Yeah, and I think the one thing that I really point to as the reason why I keep almost saying the wrong name. They're not the Warriors, they're the Thunder.
Yeah. Well,
the reason that the Thunder aren't playing as well against the Rockets as they should be, Nene. Because Nene is this crazy hybrid center who can either play a sweet finesse game or he can play a strong power game.
Mm-hmm.
And so the Thunder have Enes Kanter and they have Steven Adams who play the center. Steven Adams can be very physical. Enes Kanter not as much.
Yeah, they're almost two separate people, yet Nene is the same, both of them in one.
When Enes Kanter's on the floor, then Nene can play, or Capella can play their power game.
Mm-hmm.
When Steven Adams is on the floor, he can get past them.
You just get past him, or you spread him out and put him somewhere he's just not comfortable playing, and that's.
Plus, he can shoot.
Yeah, I that's the thing. I think that there's too much adaptability on the Houston side of the ball, and I mean you can one game out of the year or one night out of the year ball out of the gym if you're Russell Westbrook, but asking this man to go out and do it and win every single game by himself in a 7-game series, it's almost impossible.
Right, and I'm pretty sure this isn't going to make the final cut for this podcast, but I'm going to say it anyways. Now watch me whip. Now watch me nay.
That's terrible. Terrible.
So
I should have seen it coming.
So now, who do you think's going to win?
Houston.
Rockets.
I mean, there's 3 games left. Maybe I could see it goes 6, but I don't think it goes further.
Okay. I think the Rockets are going to take it in the next 2, but that's we'll see.
I mean, unless Westbrook does something to completely astonish me, I just don't see there being enough on that Oklahoma City roster.
Yeah, I don't see this going to 7. I certainly don't see Oklahoma City winning. But now we get to the marquee matchup, and that is the Memphis Grizzlies and the San Antonio Spurs. Memphis Grizzlies, I can't even describe for you how they're even matching up with San Antonio right now, but they're doing a very good job of it.
Yeah, it's actually kind of shocking to me. I didn't see this series being tied 2-2. I thought they might have given up a game, maybe 2 in the whole thing, but I really thought they would be, and especially given how close the games have been, it's kind of been a shock to me. It seems like Kawhi Leonard is literally trying to force the Spurs down the stretch and just push them to the finish line here in certain aspects of these games, because it seems